Hey everybody, this is Louisa at the Georgia Center for Nonprofits. Today we're talking to Alyssa Green from the Georgians for a Healthy Future. She's here to talk about GCN's leadership program, now called Emerge. But before we get started with questions, I wanted just to have Alyssa introduce herself.
Yeah, thanks for having me today. My name is Alyssa Green. I'm the Outreach Education Manager at Georgians for a Healthy Future. That's a consumer health advocacy program located in Atlanta, Georgia.
Awesome. And so just to start, how did you learn about GCN's leadership program?
Yeah, so GHF, Georgians for a Healthy Future, we actually are a member of GCN, so we get a lot of the communications, updates, just like the meetings that happen on a monthly basis, etc. So my boss actually saw that there's this leadership development program, and she and I have had some previous conversations about my professional development goals for the short term and long term. And the leadership program just really coincided really well with what my goals were at the time. And so she encouraged me to apply, and I did.
Well, we're glad you did. So ultimately then, since you heard it from her, like why did you decide that this was the leadership program you wanted to do?
Yeah. I think I was at a point where I wanted to focus on what leadership meant for me in an internal way. I think a lot of development programs think about like what you do as a leader and how you interact with other people and what that means. And I really wanted an opportunity to kind of think internally about like my personality, my values, my ethics, and what leadership meant for me personally in order to become more effective leader within my organization.
Yeah, I love that about our program. If you're talking to somebody that's considering applying for this year, like, who or why should they apply?
Yeah, I think that someone who's in like a coordinator position or a manager position, someone who is, especially folks who are new to the nonprofit sector, because I think as a kind of like a newbie, you have this opportunity to kind of develop these skills, right, early in your career. So it's easier to kind of implement those as you go, right? And like for me and myself, I had been with JJF for like a few years at that point. So I was still pretty new to being like a nonprofit manager. And I think participating in the program kind of gave me this like wealth of knowledge, right? That I was able to incorporate. And then you also, one of the benefits is getting the wealth of knowledge from other nonprofit professionals. So there are people from, a whole bunch of different backgrounds, right? In the cohort with me. And I was also able to like lean on folks, listen to their stories, their experiences, and learn from that as well. So, I think anyone who is in the nonprofit world should consider applying. And I think especially folks who are a bit newer to their positions or newer to like the nonprofit sector for sure.
Great. Yeah, I know the networking is great. You get to meet lots of folks.
Yeah.
So you mentioned takeaway. So let's move there. Let's think about, what were some of the bigger lessons or takeaways that you took, and maybe some that you are applying today, maybe due to COVID?
Yeah. I really appreciated thinking about the levels of leadership. So thinking critically about, where you're at in your career and like what level of a leader that you are right now, like what you've mastered. And then learning about the leadership levels like in front of where you are at that point, so you can kind of see the things that you could learn in the future and like ways that you could become more effective. So reading material and like the homework and like the reflection pieces that we did were super helpful. And like for me understanding where I was as a leader, right, and where I would have to go still. And then another point that was super relevant for me was the diversity, equity, and inclusion piece. And out of that conversation, during the development program, I was able to go back to GHF and like create a racial equity platform and like start the conversation with like our board of directors and the AD, and really kind of just like trailblaze that conversation. And that came literally out of being a part of the cohort. So
oh, wow.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
That's awesome. Yeah. Especially I think this year, right? There's like that momentum.
Yeah.
So the fact that you kind of got a head start, and I feel like still there's so much there to be done. So it's such a big part of the program. So I'm so glad that that was something that you literally were like, I'm going to keep going. I got this.
Yeah,
Guys.
they gave you the tools and the foundation to like start the conversation, right? And like kind of like the tangible pieces that you need in order to like implement that within an organization. So I think GHF and myself are very thankful for that.
Yeah, and I think, you know, learning about it or reading about it, but then getting the tools to practice are two different things. You need both. So I'm really excited to hear you say that. All right. Well, I mean, I know we talked, this is quick, but I feel like you hit on a lot of things. Is there anything else in terms of maybe like, obviously your organization saw the value because you helped lead a program or an initiative. Is there anything else like that you've heard maybe from your supervisor or your board that kind of nods to the parts that, you know, the program itself that helped you?
Yeah, I think another part of the program that really helped me was this reality of being vulnerable as you're coming to your work, and then kind of going back to my position at JHF and really kind of digging deeper and being more open with staff, like internally, and then producing that like externally for like partners and like contractors and other folks that we engage with. That's something that my supervisor like commented on after I participated in the program and just talked about kind of like the like being more open about how things like personally affect me and how that affects the work that I do, right? And I mean that has been really beneficial for us at GHF for sure. So
that's great.
Yeah.
And how big is your organization and how long have they been around?
Not big. We were formerly a 3-person team. We are most recently a 4-person team, so that's really big for us. And we are about 12 years old. So yeah,
awesome. Well, and I think that speaks about, I think with nonprofits, how important the people are because we're resource strapped. So the more you can equip people to sort of use, you know, be the best that they can be, both as people and as leaders, I think that to me adds value.
Absolutely. Agreed.
That's great. Thank you so much. Any final parting words before I let you go?
No, I mean, I'm just super thankful to have been a part of the program. So I want to thank everyone, you know, over there, all the mentors, the folks who came to speak to us, Matthew, everyone who kind of like onboarded us and like walked us through the program. Big thank you for sure. Thank you for this.
I will let you know when I talk to him tomorrow.
Sounds good.
Well, thank you so much, Alyssa. I appreciate your time and honestly your time with what you're doing now. You're really a spokesperson to that work. So lots of, you know, good luck, success. Keep us updated actually on that. We're always looking for ways to share our member news stories. So I love it. And if you guys that are listening to us are interested, you know, go to our gcn.org. There's an emerge header image there for you to click on and apply. I think applications are due by the 14th or 16th of October. So get in there, at least start the application. It might take you more than once to fill it out, or share that with your decision makers and let them know, share this video, share the content so they know how valuable it is. And with that, I'm going to wrap it up and thank you, everybody. Have a good rest of your day.